Hello guys. Hope all of you are safe and doing fine. And let us try to fight. Let's try to fight COVID-19 altogether. So in this video, we are going to discuss about file structures and files, how to read files from the external memory. So far, we have learned how to write programs and communicate our intentions to the CPU using conditional execution, functions, and iterations. In this chapter, we start to work with secondary memory or files. So secondary memory basically cannot be erased when the power is turned off. So what we do, so we basically try to save the files in the secondary memory, and whenever we need it, we try to retry. So it's very similar like how we try to read those files which are saved in secondary memory files. Here I have considered a file which is saved as mbox-short at in txt format, and it is saved in a folder. So let's just write if I want to read a file with mbox-short.txt. So how to read a file using Python programming? I can basically there are 4 types of file handling structures. 4 types. One is either I can open the file, I can close the file, I can open a file in a read mode, I can open a file in a write mode. So these are the 4 file handling options in Python. So now let us just try to read a text file and try to see how many lines are there inside a file. So I have a syntax called fopen. So I should create a variable called fhand is equal to, I would like to open a file, and the file name is mbox-short and followed by its format.txt. Now the file is opened and it is assigned to a variable called fhand. I would simply declare a variable called count. Just initiate a variable called count is equal to 0. Now I would like to go through in the file through each line. So I would declare an iterative variable called line or line in fhand. I would simply increment the count. Count is equal to count plus 1. And I would see the final count out of the loop. So how many lines do I have? So I have 11 lines inside this mbox-short.txt. Suppose if you want to see the lines instead of count, I would say print line, but inside the for loop, just it iterates through all the lines in fhand and it simply prints the lines. So here you could see I have so many lines inside the for loop. This is the first line in the first iteration. Here I have generated some extra spaces, white spaces. So how it can be removed, that you can see in coming slide. So now these are the lines. So if you can see, there are a couple of lines which have started with from colon from. Okay. Yeah, can we just try to see how can I extract the lines which starts with from? Okay, a small change that I need to do. Let us just try to forget about, like, I'm not trying to count the number of lines which is present. So just remove this statement. So what is line now? So line is individual line. Can I use an if statement, conditional statement here? If line, I'll apply the method called starts with. So line dot starts with. So I should pass an input argument where I am looking for a string called from colon. So now I would say print line. Okay, so print line if the line that starts with from colon. Now you can see out of so many lines, I can see only the line which starts with from has been extracted. So the output looks great since the only lines we are seeing are those which starts from. We could use line slicing to print all but the last character, but a simpler approach is to use the rstrip method just in order to remove these extra spaces. So how to use rstrip? Once you read the line, in each and every line, you just try to embed line is equal to line dot rstrip. So it strips out the extra double spacing effect, what we have seen in our previous, this double spacing effect. So line dot rstrip. So it's a void function. Why? Because you're directly applying this rstrip onto the line. So now you try to print. Can you see now? You have basically avoided those extra spaces. As your file processing programs get more complicated, you may want to structure your search loops using continue sometimes, but not always. The basic idea of the search loop is that you are looking for interesting lines and effectively skipping uninteresting lines. Here we can structure the loop to follow the pattern of skipping uninteresting lines as follows. Like I just again, I just try to copy paste the same program, okay? And I shall make a small changes. So up to I'll read the file. I have read the file. So again, I am inside the file line by line. I can use this line also, line.rstrip. And here I could say, if not, line dot starts with from. So instead of print, I could say continue. I could say continue. Okay. So if not, line starts with from, so it continues to the for loop. So it will not break. Suppose if the line has started with from, now I could print just like a break statement. Now the same thing, we can expect the same output. The uninteresting lines are those which do not start with from here, which we can skip using continue. Now we can use the find string method to simulate a text editor search that finds lines where the search string is anywhere in the line. Suppose if I want to find at uct.ac.za, that is actually the domain name. So now what I could do, I would copy the same program. Now what I could do is I'll read a line for line fn. Let me remove this. For line in fn, again, I have to remove the extra spaces, double spaces. So I would say line is equal to line dot rstrip. Okay. Now if I would simply want to print the line which has got this at uct.ac.zt. Otherwise, just ignore that line. So what I need to do, I could use the find string method to simulate a text editor. Okay, I could use if line dot find. Okay, if line dot find. Now enter the string which you are looking for. Let's say, for example, if I am looking for the string, so if line dot find, okay, equal to -1. Since it looks for an occurrence of a string within another string and either returns the position of the string or -1 if the string was not found. Okay, so equal to -1. Say continue, else print the line. Okay, which produces the following. Okay, so there was a small technical problem. So now let us go to if you ask or allow the user to choose the file name. So this is really interesting. So how do you prompt user to choose a file name? Say, for example, one second. Yeah. Uh, now I should call the name variable called fname is equal to how to prompt. How do you prompt user to choose the file name? So I use